What's good? It's your boy Jaymin. Shout out Hype Off Life.
Thanks for coming through. Thanks for your time. You're in LA for Grammys week this week. How's the city been treating you?
It's good. I always love being in LA. It's a change up from being in Seattle where the weather's cold. So to get a little bit of sun is always a good thing. So yeah, I'm enjoying LA a lot.
That's real cool. How's it like in Seattle? What's the music scene like?
We got a lot of dope talent. I think there's a lot of people kind of buzzing around the same time. But we haven't really had a really dope music scene in a while since like Jimi Hendrix and Nirvana, after that. So yeah, I think it's good that a lot of dope people, Yanni, who's performing today, also from Seattle. So I think it's dope. I think we got a lot of talent. So I think it's about time that we get our just due. So yeah.
That's really dope. I've been covering PDX artists for years. Like I used to cover B. Cole and Raz Simone. So it's dope to see this region evolving. So since you started your career, you've been set on the mission of bringing R&B back to its roots of romanticism and real love. So why do you think that's more important now than ever?
There's a lot of I don't like to call it toxicity. I don't like that word, but I guess that's the only word, for lack of a better word, toxic music. And I just feel like in this state that we're at in the world, just everything that's going on, I feel like, we need to come together, as cliche as it may sound. So I feel like why not start with relationships? I think there's a lot of back and forth. Every time you go on the internet, it's like a gender war going on. So yeah, I just feel like, kind of switching the pace up, and also, that's kind of how I came up. I grew up on the Jodeci's and the D'Angelo's and whatnot. So that's what inspires me. So yeah, man, I'm just trying to kind of change it up a little bit and give people, a little bit of, something different. So yeah.
That's really cool. I grew up around the time when Jodeci and D'Angelo came out. That was like a whole dope era. So a lot of your music, it has roots in New Jack Swing and a lot of 80s and 90s aesthetics. Who were some of your other favorite artists during that time?
So I would say that like, I think 88 probably has that kind of vibe. But that was a beat that kind of just fell into my lap. I think my style comes from like gospel. I think like Fred Hammond, Kirk Franklin, but then also Stevie Wonder is a huge influence on the way that I write and the way that I try to pen songs. But yeah, like I said, Jodeci, D'Angelo, Genuine has been a big influence of mine. Just from the swag and the way he carried himself, to the way that he sang to the women. So yeah, I like to make songs for women. You know what I mean? So I think they need to be uplifted and taken care of and looked after, and I feel like I do that in my way with the music. So yeah,
that's a really important message. Yeah. So if somebody listened to your music, they would think you have an old soul. Is that true?
You can say that. I have older parents. I feel like I grew up, like I said, I grew up in a strict household. You know what I mean? Even growing up, a lot of the music that I was influenced by, I couldn't really listen to in the house. Stevie Wonder, I could. His music was pretty clean. But a lot of music I had to kind of like sneak and listen to, especially like the Genuines and But so yeah, I think a lot of it just comes from that, growing up in church and kind of, not being able to listen to certain things. And I feel like a lot of that soul comes from being in the church, which is, has a big influence on my music. So yeah.
That's really dope. I grew up in church too. I was in the band and choir in high school. You play instruments too, right?
Yeah. I started off playing the organ and the keyboard, and that's kind of where I kind of like perfected my craft, singing, kids choir and whatnot. So yeah.
That's really cool. So your video for Something Real, it came out less than half a year ago, and it already has more than 500,000 views. So the video's dope, but the IROC in there was really cool. How did you know that was the perfect fit for the visual?
So one of my first cars, I want to say it's like my second car that I had, was the IROC. It was red though. And so, I felt like, we got to bring it back full circle and had an IROC. I miss that car even to this day. So yeah, I'm like, why not? I gotta get the IROC in the video, and yeah, it was up from there.
Yeah, that was a huge vibe. I was like, that car was clean. Yeah. What other classic cars do you like?
There's a lot. My dad used to have a '66 Cadillac. super big, super old car. Old school Impalas are crazy, 60s, 70s, super dope. But yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of old school cars, you know what I mean? So I feel like up until like 80s, 90s, you know, and I like the newer cars too, but you know, them, something about them, you know, 68s or them 69, 70s, they hit different, you know what I mean?
They really do. If you could have any classic car, which one would you choose?
I would probably say my dad's, his old school 1966 Cadillac, just because he said I was gonna get to have it one day, but he sold it before I got of age, so that was a car I feel like I grew up kind of, you know, desiring. So I would say that just to have, yeah.
That's really dope. So you have some new music coming out pretty soon. What type of stories and sounds is it bringing?
The Pursuit of Love. You know, I have a project, Sweet Nothings, that's dropping February 6th, and it tells the story of, you know, the pursuit. You know what I mean? And then I kind of get into, you know, where I'm being vulnerable, you know what I mean? Especially at the end of the project. So, yeah, I just kind of want to tell a story of love and just kind of, you know, how to approach women, how to approach love, you know, how to carry yourself as a man, you know, loving women. I feel like a lot of dudes that say, I don't know if they think that it's not masculine anymore to love and to be vulnerable. But it is, so I kind of want to blend those worlds. You know, it's cool, and you can be cool and love. You can be cool and have a girl. You can be cool, and, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the message I want to convey in the story I'm telling. So
that's a dope message. Like the 70s and 60s also, I was looking at a Teddy Pendergrass documentary. Like that's basically, you know. Fire. What about your new release has got you the most excited?
I would say just the fact that it's my first body of work, allowing people to really hear. This project is coming up on like 2 years old. I made it in 2024, but people are just now starting to hear it. But I have so much, you know, newer music and great music. But this is my baby. You know what I'm saying? This is my first body of work. I made it all in my house. I recorded it all by myself. I wrote every single lyric, every single melody, every single harmony. It was all me. So I think just the fact that I put so much into it, you know what I mean? I'm excited for people to listen and to, you know, give their feedback. I feel like it's very heartfelt. I think the way that it's sequenced is perfect. So yeah, I'm excited to hear the feedback from my first project.
Yeah, I think it'll do well. Your music's real authentic and it's bringing something new and different, but it's like rooted in the roots of soul music, and I could hear the gospel influences. So that's really cool. So speaking of excitement, what makes you hype off life?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't think there's any one thing. I think I just wake up and try to have an attitude of gratefulness, you know what I mean? Gratitude, just to be alive. You know, my family. Yeah, just, you know, being able to do this, being able to sing, you know, that's a blessing. So yeah, I think it's not really one thing. I think to just wake up every single day, I'm grateful.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah. So thanks for your time. Do you have anything else you want people to know?
Sweet Nothing is dropping February 6th. Yeah, man, you gotta go stream that, go download that. It'll be everywhere, so yeah.
All right, thanks.
Appreciate you.